Hi everyone, this is Chantay, aka Shantizi on Twitter and Instagram, or just simply just Chantay Berry. So I'm here with my nightly show called Chantay's Analysis. I wasn't live yesterday because my restream was not acting right. It was not working. It was a stressful day yesterday. It was just chaotic. I have a paper to do. I still got a paper to do. I still got one more paper to finish, which is good. And so I'll be finished by tomorrow, thank God, because the project is due. And then I'll be done with school for the semester and hopefully get an A. I hope, I pray that I do. But I am here with the nightly spiel, and I'm going to start off with COVID first because that here I always start off with the numbers of COVID because COVID is, hey, how you doing? The COVID numbers are just ridiculously insane. So according to the Johns Hopkins website, global confirmed cases are 55,562,616 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in 189 countries. And the global death toll is 1,337,343. The U.S. confirmed cases here at home in the United States is 11,344,154. I'll say that again, 11.3. 11,344,154, and the U.S. death toll is almost climbing to 250. We're at 248,581. So it's 1,000 deaths a day, pretty much. And as of today, according to the Johns Hopkins University and Medicine website, we had 166,045 new confirmed infections of COVID-19 here at home in the USA. 166,000. That is insane. That's insane. Now I'm going to draw your attention to the New York Times COVID map. You can subscribe to the New York Times COVID map. It is free. It is no charge at all. They're only doing it for the coronavirus, and the same thing goes for the Washington Post, whichever you prefer. So as of today, November 17, 2020, Texas have 1,111,911. So 1.1. Oh, I'm about to get to that next, that transition. Don't worry. California is next in line, the second state to break over 1 million cases, as I stated in many live videos. 1,054,878. Followed by Florida, 897,315, which they're not close. They're close. They're not too far away from California nor Texas when it comes. They're going to be the next state to break million. And of course, they have the stupidest governor of all. Yeah. Illinois. I knew Illinois was going to climb over New York. It was just a matter of time. I have not done these lives since Friday, and I take a break over the weekend. And yesterday, my internet was messed up. But I knew Illinois is going to climb over New York cases. Illinois almost has 600,000 cases. 599,315. Excuse me. New York, which was 9 months ago almost the epicenter of all of this, is now have the number 5 leading cases of COVID-19. Our infection rate is growing, but it's not in the reds like Illinois and all these other states. 573,544. Georgia, 400 and Wagwan, Queen. I know it's crazy. 414,821. Wisconsin is a wildfire. Like they have to do a stay-at-home order, and it was an executive order. 342,115. North Carolina, 318,537. Tennessee, 314,553. And Ohio just surged like out of nowhere at 365. Michigan has now climbed over New Jersey at 296,536. So now that makes New Jersey 1, 2, 3, 6, the 12th largest cases, and New York has bumped down to number 5. Keep in mind, those two had the largest amount of cases back in March and April and May. But even though New York has seen a whole bunch of waves, which I'm from New York, has seen a little bit of an increase, but it was not like March and April, like almost 800 people dying per day. That was insane. But the source that I'm using for the coronavirus numbers, I read from the Johns Hopkins website earlier with the global amount of cases. And according to the states, I'm reading from the New York Times COVID map. And you can subscribe for free to the New York Times COVID map only, not the New York Times overall. Or you can subscribe to the Washington Post COVID map, but not the Washington Post. I hope that answers your question. But yeah, Texas is a wildfire. And of course, Greg Abbott is a stupid fool. We all know DeSantis is stupid. Gavin Newsom is trying his best with the conservatives he has in his state. But California is a big state. Anyway, California has more of a population, the biggest population than New York. Oh, okay, no problem. But because of the governor that we have in New York, Andrew Cuomo, who is a Queens native, like the occupant of the White House, but they're two different Queens natives, he knows crisis management. My governor actually was a HUD secretary back in the day, and HUD secretaries dealt with crisis management, and that's what they do. Yeah, he's a disgrace. So thank God for my governor who has saved the people of New York. So when these conservative New Yorkers complain about, people died in nursing homes, they don't remember that Europeans already had coronavirus. Yeah, I agree, Queen Lion. Totally agree. Dan Patrick, is that the lieutenant governor of Texas? Confirm that, please. Because I think that name sounds familiar. But thank God for Governor Cuomo and his team. Even Bill de Blasio, he kind of got COVID right. Even though he's a mess, he got COVID right. But kudos to Governor Andrew Cuomo. Shout out to him. But this is serious because with COVID, it's not just a health implication, it's also a financial implication. And as a person that is in grad school for business and have got their degree, their bachelor's degree in business administration, who dealt with the economy, who dealt with the financial side of things, and also is a trainer, not a trained accountant, but had accounting courses. Public health crisis affects the economy. And when you can't get the public health situation under control, the economy goes plateau. And especially here at home in the U.S., 60% of our economy is based on consumer spending. So it's based on you and I, say like if we go shopping, it's going to be people of shopping. That's how the country makes its money. People shopping in retail stores, people, tourism. Tourism is another thing. And especially I live in a city where there's a lot of tourist attractions. We're the first global city. When people from Europe fly over, they land to New York first. And New York has 2 major airport hubs, New York City to be exact, and they're both in Queens. And so when Europeans come here, they come to New York first. Sometimes they visit here or they do a connecting flight, but they visit here, they visit our tour buses. I didn't even see tour buses drive around the city. That is weird in itself. It's sad because the current resident, I don't call him the president, the current resident was the worst businessman ever in New York. He was the terrible businessman. A lot of business people in New York were scammed by him and were conned by him that they don't even speak good things of him. And one of them was the former mayor of New York City, which is Michael Bloomberg. As much as I didn't like Michael Bloomberg was right about Donald Trump and his business dealings. Like all New Yorkers knew who Donald Trump was. That's why we told the country not to vote for him. No one listened to us. So there you have it. But this here is a financial downfall in terms of tourism. People that worked in the hotels, people work in actual other retail stores. Like there's some retail stores that are closing that are never coming back. Like Modell's is a long time New York sports store and clothing store, and they're not coming back. They're done. And that store has been around for 130 plus years. And for that store to even not come back, that's a problem. That's a New York brand. GNC is another place that's going to be going out of business. JCPenney filed for bankruptcy. They closed some of their stores. Even some stores that did not go in bankruptcy, they had to close their stores and lay off their employees. Some of the employees came back and some of the employees did not come back. Some women dropped out of the workforce because their kids had to be home, had to be doing, virtual learning. Donald Trump has always been a con. He will forever be a con. That's what we New Yorkers told the whole country so. You told the whole country so. No one listened to us, of course. But y'all listened to us on Bloomberg, though. You did, and you listened to us this time. So, and you listen to the people in Milwaukee. But people in Milwaukee and people in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Detroit, Michigan, and Philadelphia and Atlanta showed up. So thank you. But shout out to New York, who also was always on it and said, no, 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 as always. But Trump can't come back here, though. And his kids, they haven't came out their houses, and they're not going to come out their house. They're scared. I mean, I live down a block from, not too far from Trump Towers, nor his hotel down a block from my house. So there you have it. But enough on this, and hopefully we will get a handle on COVID because, I did say to people in Detroit because and I heard that their elections are going to be certified in Wayne County, which that's in Detroit, because one of the Republican women have reversed course because they know this made big ass news because they would have been in trouble pretty much. And it's an act of voter suppression. So it wasn't a win for Donald Trump, which he says is a win, and he needs to cut that shit out because it's not a win for him. But anywho, I'm going to draw the attention to the Biden and Harris transition. They still haven't, of course, the transition letter hasn't been signed. They have not been briefed. Joe Biden has said he has not been briefed. Kamala Harris went to vote, I guess, in the Judiciary Committee. One of the judges has not been, Sheldon, I think Judge Sheldon, I don't know which judge it was, has not been, his vote has been back, or there was, his nomination is held up because, there's not that many people in the Senate. I think one of the GOP senators, Chuck Grassley, is quarantined at home. He has been exposed to coronavirus, which I'm not surprised. He was with no mask. And I'm surprised Dianne Feinstein didn't catch coronavirus. But that's a whole nother subject. But Joe Biden has not been briefed. And Donald Trump has fired the head of the election cyber committee to basically oversee the elections not being hacked. So that's where we are. Yeah. What a great time to live in America, right? With all of this going on, a current resident don't want to concede that he lost, the incoming administration not being briefed, a ravaging pandemic that is killing everyone in this country and the whole entire world and making people sick, racial reckoning going on, being Black in America for 34 years. Trust me, it's been one hell of a interesting experience, especially when the superior race don't acknowledge you as a person and then trying to revert back to that shit again. And we got climate change. Like, it's cold here. It's going to be cold tomorrow here in New York, and it's going to be 20 degrees higher than it was. It's just a whole mess. Like I said, and I didn't mean to be sarcastic, but what a good time to live in America, right? What a good time. But another issue that's bothering me, and it's been aggravating my nerves. The transition Biden and Harris team does not, they owe a gratitude to Black people. But as in terms of whatever ideological spectrum that you're on, and this is to all people that voted for Biden and Harris, they don't have to tell people or bend the knee of who they're going to put in their fucking cabinet. And that's where mostly progressive groups, like the Sunrise Movement, like Justice Dems, they don't owe you shit. They don't. They don't. And I want to read some things because I get irritable when it's like, oh, you got to put this person in because we put you in there. Excuse me? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are sitting in the position that they're sitting in. That they're to read this. This was a report. Justice Dems don't like the Ricchetti and Richmond hires. If Joe Biden continues making corporate friendly appointments to the White House, he will risk quickly fracturing the hard-earned goodwill that his team built with progressives to beat Donald Trump. I'm going to state this again. Progressives are not a big voting bloc. They're not. Once again, it's the Black people from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Detroit, Michigan, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Atlanta, Georgia that saved the Biden and Harris, that got Biden and Harris elected, along with Black people in New York, along with Black people in New Jersey, along with Black people in Connecticut, along with Black people in Massachusetts, along with Black people in Rhode Island, along with indigenous people and Hispanic people in Arizona, along with Black people in Delaware, along with Black people in Virginia and in Maryland. Now I can go on and on and on if I want to. Progressives are not a big voting bloc. They're not. They're not. They don't get to tell people. And for Richmond, he's corporate friendly. Really? Corporate friendly? That makes no sense. How is he corporate friendly when he's fighting for the fucking will of the people? See, with this progressive label, and I'm going to read the definition of progressivism because it seems like people really bastardize the definition of what it means to be a progressive. And I get so angry because, like, I consider myself a liberal and a progressive. I don't consider myself as a centrist because a lot of the issues I care about is mostly to the left. No, most of it is to the left. So here we go. Because I'm getting tired. No. Definition. Okay. So according to the Webster Dictionary, progressive is an adjective. It's describing what the person's ideological references. That's what an adjective means, describing something. So there's a couple definitions. A, of relating to or characterized by progress. B, making use of an interest in new findings or opportunities. C, of relating to or constituting a educational theory marked by emphasis on the individual child, informity of a classroom procedure, and encouragement of self-expression. Not really related. But the term progressive, which is a noun, is, I'm going to read B because B is more relatable to what I'm about to say. One believing in moderate political change and especially social improvement of governmental action. So I'm going to read definition B of progressive, which is a noun. Because there's the progressive, which is an adjective, and there's the progressive of a noun. So I'm assuming that's the noun version. One believing in moderate political change and especially social improvement of governmental action. So I just have one question. What has Bernie Sanders done that is progressive? What has Justice Democrats done that was progressive? What does any of the elected people, not newly elected, because they're not included, but the ones that were elected, what have they done? It seemed like the only one that has been doing things, that's been making inroads with other people in the caucus, in a Democratic caucus, is Ayanna Pressley. I mean, she's the only one that's been working with people like Kamala Harris, who is actually progressive. And other members in the Democratic caucus. And it's no shade to be thrown at everybody else, you know, who are progressive and has been endorsed by the Justice Democrats. But what have the other ones what they've done? Besides speaking out basically against the quote unquote establishment, what have they done? Because I would like to know. Because I don't know. So when I hear shit like this, talking about, oh, Cedric Richmond is corporate friendly. No, he's not. And he's actually been a Biden surrogate since day one, since Joe Biden has entered into the presidential primaries, into the race, pretty much. Him, Keisha Lance Bottoms, Chris Coons, Ron Klan, like, those are his allies. Kamala Harris will put her allies in a line of work too, in her space. She got Karine Jean-Pierre. Karine Jean-Pierre was never like a surrogate to anybody. She will put her press secretary, one of the girls, that's her press secretary in the Senate. She'll put her in there. She'll probably put some of the other people that work on her campaign. I mean, you want to put your loyal allies in office. That's how it goes. If Bernie was elected, Bernie would have had Nina Turner in that White House. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in that White House. At the end of the day, it shouldn't matter to you. You don't know those policies that they want is going to get done because you have a Mitch McConnell, still the fucking leader of the Senate, the majority leader of the Senate. And that all depends on how Georgia go, because if Georgia go, it's going to be split. But in terms of if Lindsey Graham has to step down as a senator, it's going to all go to the Democrats. If, God forbid, if Mitch McConnell gets sick because he hasn't been looking well lately, it's going to be in Democrat control. That's if we get Georgia, the 2 seats in Georgia. That's if something happens where Lindsey Graham is investigated and all those allegations were true, because there are true about him with this whole election thing, and it's no lie. The governor of the state secretary of Georgia, the secretary of state, in Georgia did not lie. He told the truth. And he's a conservative Republican. The last of them. Because the Republican Party right now, in which he would like is a party of Trump, as the party of Trump, but the Republican Party before Donald Trump was Tea Party driven. There was very little few of conservatives. So if it sways the way that I say it sways, but I highly doubt it. I'm just making my prediction. I'm assuming if Lindsey Graham is thrown out the Senate, and if Mitch McConnell does get sick, or if the two Democratic Senates sway that way, Chuck Schumer will be the Senate majority leader, and shit will get passed. Some of these young progressives and these Justice Democrats don't understand how government works. You have to get the legislative body on board. We have a fractured legislative branch. I felt like, the judicial branch, which is the Supreme Court, is partisan, heavily partisan in the era of Trump. And that's something that the Biden-Harris administration got a lot of work to do. So as much as we want from them, they got to tackle this virus first. That is the main important thing, because Donald Trump has fucked up everything so much. And on top of that, they got to make sure that there's integrity in our judicial system, and there's integrity in our legislative branch, and that the Oval Office still remains well respected. So that's a lot of shit that they have to tackle with the racial injustices, climate change. They got so much shit to do. They got a lot of work ahead of them. It's a lot. Hopefully Biden will make it through, without a doubt, and might pass the baton to Kamala Harris. But they have so much work to do. And the way Kamala Harris sounded the other day, she sounded very presidential the other day. Almost more presidential than Joe Biden, which they both are the reason why. Like, I'm glad that I voted for them, even though I wanted Kamala to be more of my commander-in-chief than Joe Biden. But either way, it was not. If it was not going to be her, then it was going to be him. And so sad. It was him, and he picked her. And that's the ticket that people predicted since she dropped out the race. But I'm glad. I'm so glad that it's them handling this. And trust me, like I said, they're going to have a lot of work to do. So progressives and Justice Democrats, take a seat and shut up. But anyway, I'm going to end this tonight because I have a lot of work to do. A shitload of work. But I'll see you tomorrow, and I might be calm. I will have my papers done because they're due tomorrow at 10. And take care of yourselves and each other. Good night.